Chi creation, love and light, part 16. So we have the symbol for division and how it looks like the sun over water. So you got the flat line for the water, the sun for spirit and that kind of sense and stuff, and its reflection, its symbolic being of being split. And then the meaning of the symbol as well, being division. So, how that kind of represents, what it is, what the symbol is, by representing the reality in that kind of sense. So, another aspect of things, as we were speaking about soulmates and such, then we can see the realm in this kind of sense. We can see one torus field and another torus field, and then as they join together, they create a torus field between them both. So, for that to be where we exist, so that'd be the heavens, that'd be the below, and then this is the area between each, so the balanced area. The realm in that kind of sense. So we see it there, but we twist it like that, and we see it as a torus field and another torus field. The overlap is within it. So, like, you've got two eyes, but you've got one brain. You've got one third eye. Like, so, like, that third eye is, it's more to do with your internal conscience. It's kind of like, the head's a micro, the macro of the body. So when you look at the body, there's the heart as well. So like a gift in being able to see with the heart rather than the eyes. So, that's where your spiritual practice, it leads towards greater intuition. So then people are less likely to able to lie to you and all these kind of things. We're speaking about the forest, when it used to be a utopia, and the torus fields were like better than the internet and such. Then it'd be like that in that kind of way. It's like your intuition was connected with the vibration of a realm. So that's what happens when you increase your torus field, exercise the torus field in a sense. So like, qigong, kung fu, all that kind of stuff. It's all good for that, So there's this as well. We're using the apple picture, and we had the core of the apple, and I was pointing upward and down and all these kind of things. And I kept messing up. I'd pause to think about what we're saying, and then you kind of forget the exact line that you're left with and stuff like that. But never mind anyway. Plus sign, you've got both. You've got the land and the spirit. So when we walk in spirit, we're upright. When our bodies when we go to sleep, our bodies become in sync with the realm. And so, it's kind of like absent of spirit. You know what I mean? It's become stationary in that kind of sense and stuff. So then, like when we've got waves, and how waves are like the tree trunks, they're flat that way. But when a tree grows, it's standing in spirit, so it stands upright because it follows that line. So we spoke about Rahu and Ketu, there's being like one that way, and then the sun and the moon, or whichever way it is. It's kind of like we've got one reference in for each in that kind of sense. A reference of a peacock. For that line, you've got that line, so like the division symbol, you've got the landscape, you've got the water. So the bugs, you've got that same thing. Again, it's showing you water like the peacock feather kind of showed. It's got the sun there, the perspective lines, all that kind of thing. So that can be twisted as well. As in, you got your perspective lines. I suppose if we twist that, it looks more like a tree. You know, the fluffy breaking of the waves and the patterns that they make. And so you turn that onto the side when you've got that kind of pattern. So here it's like we've got the male and the female, male and female. You got your line, you got your cross, and also they're squashed together. So that's like, you know, there's some pressure. It's like this is the area of our realm in that kind of sense. So you imagine we've got the torus field above and a torus field below, and this is the torus field which mixes between them both. So that funnels from the above torus field, and that funnels from the below torus field. So the combination of the two torus fields connecting together is where that is in that kind of way. So if we twist that again, then you've got the Vesica Pisces of existence in that kind of way, where we live. So like the double Taurus field, that kind of sense of what we're looking at. See, when you look at it there, it's showing you the ellipse. But it also, where are we? Here. It's the same pattern as that. See how it's like more, it's like the glow kind of stops it from being a perfect cross. Not that one. Not that it shows an ellipse, it's more like light in that kind of sense. So when you look at a star and it kind of, a star and it's kind of like, you know, it's got the light bending. It's not just a dot as such. Oh, that's what waves. Oh, and faces. I think there was something else there, but so there, you've got it there, but this is more nose shaped. It's like one part of it. And so like the nose, the wave, when we look at it horizontally, we're seeing it that way and stuff, how the air travels through the nose. And that was for the black hole. So it's got the light pointing in the direction. So it's got the bias to the yin to the yang in that kind of way. And it's got some waves. It's a bit blurry though. So it's got the line that goes through it that separates them. So you've got the two black spheres or semispheres, you know, as a squashed together. So that line might actually represent that they are separate. So I mean, you see at the bottom of the apple, it shows it at both sides. It's probably an illustration, but another aspect of this, again, twisting it. So you've got the realm at the top and the realm at the bottom, but also you've got the line, so like the horizon, but again, we stand it up. Oops, one more. We stand it up, and then you get your chakras. So again, it's squashed onto it, so that's there as well, and it's also with middle section, so you can see there, and that's where there's like a flat plane ellipse, and you see the apple bottom in that kind of sense. So it's like the apple's sideways. I mean, it's like you've got the land of the living and the land of the spirit. You know what I mean? I imagine the spirit is like more like a permanent home. You know what I mean? Where like because you're like everlasting, infinite life and that kind of sense and stuff. And it's here where it's temporary. So we've got two torus fields like that. So another aspect of like looking at this, because the spirit is always in motion, the flat plane of existence is always stationary. So if these are in motion, they could be twisting like the other way, you know what I mean? And then like when they connect the bottom and the top, that's like when you get like your eclipse and stuff. So it's got to match up in that kind of sense. Maybe. I mean, I'm trying to figure things out and stuff, that kind of thing, like. But I mean, it depends because it's like it could just spin round. You know what I mean? But at the same time, could it be that that's what we're seeing, like looking through the tunnel? You know what I mean? When you do get an eclipse, a solar eclipse. So that Ankh again, you got the double one, but like the appropriacy for it would be seeing the Ankh that way. And so again, you got the realm above and below, and then the flat plane of existence where we live. So another example, illustration. I think you've got your Vesica Pisces, yeah. So that's where the light is in that kind of sense, where we exist and such. But when you've got like your eclipse, black hole, sun kind of thing. So, is that how we perceive it when they line up? So again, like the flat plane, but when we turn it, it's like a realm, a torus field with a torus field underneath it. Together, they're creating their own aura or torus field as a whole. So that could be the flat plane, but also at the same time, it could be where it overlap. Oh, it's not showing it overlap as such. But I mean, you'd consider it's like that'd be the bottom and top. Like you draw a circle around them two, and that's where we'd be. So another example of a double torus field, and you got the flat plane of existence with them there. It also seems to show it in there as well. So maybe it's one of each, you know what I mean? That's another example. It's got that ring around it, so sometimes you see that. I can't remember what it was. It was something I showed with. Never mind, anyway. There's a picture I've already showed, which is gonna get like that hump round the ball shape or whatever it was we're looking at. So you've got the torus field with the coil and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and they've even included it for the Milky Way, apparently. Um, See, would the Milky Way, would that actually be like the outside of um, our black hole sun? So it's like our sun is the representation for anything within that. It just depends on the extent of the Milky Way, because it's like in terms of like how the space narrative has made it look. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it is. You know, it's kind of like we can look at it differently. We know there's like planes of existence, and we also know that a lot of these lights in the sky are more likely to be chakras rather than. Well, I suppose a chakra is a place of a place of existence. You know, it's kind of like if you enter anybody's bubble of consciousness, then that's their realm of consciousness as an individual. So we all have that. You know, um, it's just be very different. You know, and I think I'm getting stuck on this topic a little bit. I'll talk about it at another point. But yeah, it's different to how they perceive it anyway, especially like distances and all these kind of things. So you get the cell division. Um, Another example. I don't know how to know. You know what I mean? Yeah, the yin yang. And so if you consider that to be a torus field of its own, and that to be a torus field of its own, and the aura for both of them, so then we live in the realm in between, you know what I mean? The torus field created by the both of them, which could be the whole, it might be just smaller inside, I'm not sure. So Vesica Pisces. Another one for showing the flower pattern, and so where it fits in that kind of sense. Right, so if you draw a circle, you draw the overlapping circle, then you can find the patterns. It's like people have like the overlap of the eye. It's a bit of an angle. I was supposed to do it perfectly, but it's got more of an angle, so it actually does fit the face better. But that, because that overlaps, it's more difficult to see the upper angle. But when people get crow's feet and such, then the angle and pattern will come up and stuff like. So then it opens, it closes, all that kind of thing. So in the same sense, I don't know, around there maybe. And then you've got the area for the mouth, it opens, you've got the tongue, all that kind of thing. And these lines also follow like the muscle pattern lines and stuff like that. So when you get expression, you get like the contortion patterns and such. So then you get the whole. So like, you know, like the entirety and such, like the aura, the torus field and such. So even there you've got, because you got lines which contradict this continuous pattern, because everything is this shape in a way, but it's also the other side of a torus field. So like the nose, the cheeks, and all those kind of things, they'll create this triangle pattern. So your nose can go there in that kind of sense and stuff. that'd like, I don't know if I did it accurately, then you'd get your eyebrows into positions and stuff. But they can move up and down as well, so it's like it doesn't have to be to the highest extremity and such. So I should have done it there maybe, but it's in that kind of sense. So then you've the rest of that torus field part, how that comes round. So then you've got, the crown chakra, all that kind of stuff. And then that kind of fulfills the rest of the contortion lines around the face. So you get the centre line, if I look at the paper, rather than my phone. And that's how it all starts to fit. So you can see like the torus field, and then loads of other torus fields. So it all kind of fits in. It's just that triangle area kind of makes it look a little bit different. It's just part of that torus field shape. So here we can see the triangle quite well. You see like there's the torus field shapes here, like the crow's feet, all that kind of thing. You see that line, that's part of that line that follows that circle. So you got like the bottom of the apple shape. It's difficult to see because it contorts as it, as it forms with rested patterns and such. But then you've got it there. There's a torus field, and then the torus fields that sit within the torus field, the flat plane, all that kind of thing. The nose, you can see like the blackness of the sun in that kind of sense. It's like darker, so it's like a hole, an emptiness, a lack of light rather than blackness. Oh, it's also got its third eye. In the opposing rather than the blackness, like your nostril breathes in and that's just pure light, and so like your third eye in that kind of way. I love that. So the face propagation. The black hole with the line. So another a good way of looking at it, this is in slow motion. It's a little bit too slow, but how you get to see like the formation of a lip and how it transforms and turns into the teeth. So going a little bit faster. I'll show you this one. So you can see, so I can move it as well. You can see how it pulls the water. So you're getting this rounded lip kind of shape. So we mentioned like the tiger's tail, how it flops over in that kind of way. And it's also, because it's all smooth, like, like lips are in that kind of way and stuff. And then once it comes to here, the air starts to mix in with it, and also like the power behind it, because it's got all of that weight is going into that one point, so it can bite into it. It sinks its teeth into it in that kind of sense. The water's soft, so it just it it does it. But because it's got so much power behind it, then that's how it does it in that way. And so the ridge, the hump, creating the lip in that kind of way as well. You see air mixing in, but you're not seeing much at lip because it starts to break up. But you get all these lines, and so you get lines on your lip as well. And those lines are what turn into the teeth. I'd like to do like an animation in a way, so it's like you can see the lip morph into teeth. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that's what the waves are doing. And so it's like every second the water's taking the information. And it's like this is useful, this is useful, this is useful. It can do it so easily. So I don't know what this guy's doing. I think this is where I stopped recording. I was still talking, and I didn't press record properly, apparently. So yeah, this is like the chi. You can see the chi patterns of it's like the star. And so where it gets that pattern from, it's also from ocean as well, but referencing it from the star because we saw these patterns when we looked at the star pictures. It's a spark of light, which is the consciousness, the domes, like reflecting the light, and the expansion and contraction, and then the spiral as well, and the brain patterns. So like the star being consciousness, the star being like a brain in that kind of way, where the brain gets those patterns from. And then for it to form the pattern of the star as well. So it's literally showing you the same thing. So it's a chakra, it's a star, it's consciousness. And then you've got the macro side of it, which is the black hole. It's got the ring, which is like a bias to one side, or it tapers off. So you've got that shape to it. Yeah, I hope I didn't just film myself twice. I don't know. I'll have to check when I find out. But I hope I missed out as well. So, but yeah. So these are water droplets, and photography is looking at the shadows. So when we see the shadows, how it's like the eclipse. That's like the spark of a light within, all that kind of stuff. So it changes. It makes these patterns. It's like the most easiest thing for it to do in that way. And our rings overlap. It's like a light inside. And so it's bending the water, so the light is bending with it, so it becomes a shadow. But in the same sense, it's making the same pattern. And so when nature's looking for those matchups, this is how easy it is for it to find it. Again, they look like bubbles of consciousness, like an orb. So it's like looking at space pictures in a way. Not space pictures, heavens pictures, pictures of the heavens. And so the light refracting and such. And so some shapes they make. And see, it creates this column, and then you got like the black hole of the eclipse. You also got the dome. mushroom. So other patterns it makes. Simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication, and so I think that's what nature does. It's got waves, so like a bubble of consciousness. You can see within it, which will continue there on next episode. So thank you for everyone for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.